Hey everybody, it's a Mad Master here. Just doing one more video today, and I don't know, like I said, when it's going to be released because I have to go through a clusterfuck of. I hope that's I hope that's PC to say clusterfuck. A clusterfuck of actions to edit my videos nowadays because I'm just running out of space on my phone. It's kind of been ridiculous. So, anyways, this video is about just what my current state is about, my current statement about what's going on with the grooming kids with, different types of sexual things and stuff, like with the LGBT plus Q plus whole movement. And I have some very nuanced, complicated opinions about this. So just as a note, I mean, I was exposed to sexual things at a very early age because of movies, of films. I didn't know what sex was, but I saw Risky Business in the theater when I was a kid. I mean, I'm not that old to have been, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not that old to see it in the theater and be an adult, is what I'm trying to say. Several other films that I saw as a kid, I used to see R-rated movies as a kid, horror movies. Grew up with some of those. Nightmare on Elm Street, I probably saw it like 7 or 8 years old. I'm not going to say who showed it to me, but I thank them highly for that, for introducing me to that horror movie. I think I could always tell the difference between fantasy and reality, so even as a little kid, so it was pretty cool. Except for when I thought I was Optimus Prime, but anyways, that's a whole other story. So this whole notion that there are actually, and I don't know the whole story about all this stuff, but these things that are taking place right now, like in Dallas, I guess there was a trans, a drag queen burlesque show that these little kids were taken to. I don't know if it was a school or some type of thing, and I think they had like It Doesn't Suck Itself or some type of thing, and like lights on the side or something like that, or Doesn't Lick Itself, like on neon lights, and there was just very provocative dancing. They had little kids put in dollar bills in these drag queen performers, belts and stuff. I think that's fucking ridiculously unacceptable, and I don't know if it's like to shock bigots or to I don't see it as like necessarily that they're trying to groom children. I find that word very problematic, especially in light of the Marilyn Manson, Evan Rachel Wood thing, because if she was 19 or 20, I just don't buy the grooming thing if you're an adult, because I'm going to do a separate video about about some of that, because I already did a video about it, but I find it very problematic to talk about, to say it's grooming, So the same goes here. I don't think it's grooming children to be, sexually involved with these drag queens or something like that. So it's kind of ridiculous to say that. That said, I find it highly problematic and unacceptable to take kids into such a highly sexualized environment, like Drag Queen Story Hour, and even that is like it's dumb, but I mean, it's just like some of these things. It's just like it's not necessary to have them go to these things. They're already the drag queens are highly sexualized. They try to be as womanly as possible, as feminine as possible. It's not like some ambiguous sexually androgynous queer person or lesbian or whatever. It's not like that. It's like the fucking the ultra feminization of a person that's dressing like this, and highly sexualized a lot of the time, because that's how it goes. So when you take little kids to this thing, it's like, I just have to ask a question. It's a difference between, or first of all, I'm going to say, there's a difference between a person seeing an R-rated movie where there's a separation there, and putting dollar bills in a garter belt of a drag queen, a little kid. There's a huge fucking difference between those two things. So I have to ask, what the fuck are they trying to do? Are they trying to lose election? I mean, it's the left. I'm sorry to say, it's the left that is supporting a lot of this. I just noticed online that just seems to be the people that are doing this. Are they trying to lose elections on purpose? Are they trying to alienate people on purpose? Because it seems like they're fucking trying to do that in these situations. And it's just like, why would you bring a kid to a fucking burlesque show of hetero cis burlesque show for that matter? Why the fuck would you bring a kid, a little kid? And I'm not even talking about pubescent people. You know, it's like, it's one thing, like if my alternative school back in the day, I went to an alternative high school, which I was kicked out of for a quarter or two, by the way, but that's a whole different story. But I went back and graduated. It would be one thing if they brought like high schoolers that were already like pretty experienced in life, you know, to this thing, or had a drag queen perform a non-suggestive or maybe semi-suggestive thing for the kids, you know, on a stage or something. That's one thing, okay? That's one thing. But little fucking like 6 to 10-year-old kids being brought to a fucking a drag queen performance, and this is real. Look it up. It's real. It's not some kind of right-wing like nut job, like, you know, exaggeration, which they do like to tend to do a lot of the time, but they like to exaggerate shit like this. But it's just like, this is real stuff. I watched Blair White's video about it. Pretty illuminating, you know. You don't have to teach tolerance by showing like the worst type of not the worst type, but you know, the most, like, dare I say, stereotypical behavior a person does. It's like, okay, so let's say you did this. So this is going to sound really controversial. Let's say you were teaching a majority white school district about, you know, tolerance for other races and stuff. And then to teach them, you know, not to be racist, you know, you take them to like a Blood and Crips like gang war shit. Fucking, like, this is like on that level. Like, just think about how ludicrous this is. It's like, how the fuck how did this pass muster to take little kids to a fucking a burlesque or whatever it was, burlesque drag queen performance? What the like at a bar? First of all, don't take kids to a bar. You don't do it of any type. Bars are fucked up places. You know, I went to bars when I was a little kid. I was fucking in utter fright, you know. I mean, when I was a teenager, I was like, oh, this is cool, you know. But like, if I was taken to a bar as a kid, it's like, who are these fucking trashy people all around me? That's why I grew up, you know, with some of these ideas that I had. But like, I actually thank the people that brought me to a bar in a way, because it's like, it made me see a lot of things early on that were fucked up. But like, taking little kids to a bar, for one, that's the first thing. So taking little kids to a burlesque performance, that's the other thing. Oh, they happen to be transgendered or drag queens, so to speak, or whatever. It's like, you're not going to teach tolerance by bringing them to the most extreme example of something that's happening. That's not gonna fucking work. I think it's like these, like, I think Stick Saxon Hammer was talking about it. These bored, like, white suburban, like, woke sort of ish Karen, like, middle-aged women. They want their, like, kids to, like, and they've talked about this on Breaking Points, and like fucking Bill Maher's talked about this. Like, they want to, like, they think it's like the in thing to, like, I mean, trans acceptance is the in thing. I'm just not gonna, you know, but I think they want to, like, push it so hard, like we're gonna win, you know, we're gonna win these terrible people that are pushing against this. Like, it's this, like, violent, like, not violent, but like very aggressive tactic to get people to, like, accept this thing, and they think little kids should, like, see this thing, and then, you know, oh, there's so many of these. It's like it's kind of like with COVID, like, you think like everybody has COVID, right? It's, you know, or not everybody has, like, you have to, like, obsess about a little minutia about it to, like, get your point across. And it's kind of hard to explain what I'm talking about, but like, hopefully this video won't be flagged because of this shit, but whatever. But it's like, I just said, like, it's a certain type of attitude that people have towards different things, that they think, like, the only way to go at what they want is by push it really hard, and they think, okay, this is like, it's like a hypochondriac kind of thing. Like, they think their kid likes G.I. Joes and they're a girl, they're automatically gonna like, oh, we got to get them like a rainbow shirt, and like, oh, we got to get them a dress now, you know. And they like kind of coach. I can see this happening. I think there are probably situations like this where they coach the kid to be, you know, more into these things, because if they're fucking 4 years old, just giving them the time to develop and figure it out for themselves is, I believe in choice, rather than say like, oh God, a little kid, we have to start getting puberty blockers and shit. No, I don't believe in that. I think maybe 16, 15, 16 is a good age. I think that's a good age, because it's not like too intrusive at that point. You know, it really depends. I think actually there's a spectrum, of course, with that. But I don't think you should give like fucking puberty blockers to a 10-year-old necessarily, or try to like push them in that direction. But it's these white upper middle class Karen liberal women a lot of the time. I think this is a Sex and Amber's point. Like, you can see these mothers, they're trying to push these kids into being, you know, gender fluid or transgender or whatever. I think there is a phenomenon of this. I believe with my heart of hearts there is. It may not be this huge thing. It's not like some kind of conspiracy, you know, the gay agenda and all that stuff like from the 90s, like people talked about. But literally, it's like this reaction. It's almost like this reaction to that kind of propaganda. So the propaganda, like, you know, the homophobic or transphobic propaganda that begins, it's like, well, why don't we show them that well, there's a real thing? You know, it's like this like counterattack against that by being even more cartoonish and crazy, because they believe in their cause so much that they have to like prove them right in a way. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the psychological phenomenon that would cause this. But anyways, I don't believe in taking little kids to fucking drag queen shows. I think it's very problematic. I could see a lot of things going wrong with that. And I've said in the past that I don't believe the bathroom thing was so overblown. Because of the fact that a lot of women are very homely and don't look like necessarily like a woman, quote unquote. They would get stopped at their genitals searched at the door by a police officer that's trying to. The trans women that pass would actually get in the bathroom faster than a lot of actual women. That's the irony, because there is a tendency not all of them, but to be very hyper feminized in a lot of ways. And some of them look really good. They pass really well. They pass more than some women. What I'm saying is they pass more than some women. So some southern fucking hick like guy calling the police on a woman a woman calling police on a woman because they think they're trans. They come out there and they're not trans. They're a woman because they're just homely looking and kind of have a Adam's apple like Ann Coulter or some shit. Like they fucking like. That would be a disaster. So I don't believe in those trans bathroom laws. But at the same time, taking a fucking little kid to a strip, basically a strip, you know, halfway to stripper, just because you want tolerance. Well, I don't fucking tolerate that. So that's about all.